I am an ordinary teenager. I'm 16 and I go to Oxford Spies Academy. I've not been an activist from the moment I learnt to walk. I've not grown up by going to ecological protests. My parents don't have a history of environmental activism. But with climate change, that doesn't matter. Climate change is an issue that is so big, so unequivocal, and so threatening that it gets any young person out on the street and campaign for change. I am an ordinary teenager, but I'm part of a generation that has realised that their future is under threat. Whether it's in 11 years when I've just left university, which is one of the proposals for when 1.5 degrees of warming is, or whether it's when I'm 50, either way, there's going to be an awful lot of clearing up for young people to do. We don't want to have to face the reality that our homes might be destroyed, or our ecosystems struggle to function, or face widespread crop failure because of the increased risk of natural disasters. But this, and an economic cost, is being built up and piled on the shoulders of the younger generation every year, who will one day have to reap its consequences. Even Donald Trump, of all climate deniers, admitted to The Atlantic magazine that there was a significant economic cost attached to climate change. But he's willing to put that off until my generation grows up. However, climate change is not just a problem of the future. It's happening now. It's quite hard to understand a magnitude of climate change because it's so spread out and we can't always see it happening on the streets. But that doesn't mean it's not happening. Even in the UK in the last 3 years, nearly 3,000 people have died prematurely due to heat waves. If that was condensed down, the extremity of it would look like a train crash, or a lot of train crashes. And that's with our UK weather. Contrast that with Africa. Millions from farming communities in Africa have already had to migrate due to drought and desertification. And yet Africa is responsible for the tiniest fraction of emissions. When it boils down to it, climate change is a burning injustice to those who do not have power. To the global south, Asia, Africa, who have to take the brunt of our emissions. To the elderly, who are most vulnerable to it. To the children, who will one day have to inherit it. And also to those who are less privileged, because they have to bear the consequences of a carbon-heavy elite. That is why we are striking, and why we're going off school, and why we're spending our weekends making placards and banners and convincing our friends to come and march with us in town. Because we can't do this on our own. This is no longer just an individual issue. This is an issue that requires governmental action. However, this is why what you have as a citizens' assembly is such an amazing chance. You can make that change. This is like a once-in-a-lifetime real way that your voice can directly improve your community. And that's really exciting. Because even though our future is full of challenges, we may as well change to make it better. Greener economy, sustainable businesses, a fairer community. We have to embrace what will bring prosperity in the future, as opposed to mourning the fuels that brought us prosperity in the past. Maybe the age-old business maxim, change or die, has never been more relevant. Throughout this assembly, you're going to hear a lot of tough stuff. It might be grueling, and no one understands everything for the first time. But the message doesn't change. When you get to the end of this assembly, I hope that you still have the picture that we're starting with today, the bigger picture. It's not just Oxford. We have a massive place in the bigger picture. We can be that change. Because even though the science predicts consequences, it also predicts that we can change that fate if we act now. And this is acting now. So when you vote on the proposals at the end of the assembly, please do it for your community. Do it for those who can't. Do it for you and your family, and do it for the young people, because we are behind you. Climate change is like a train crash that's about to happen. And all young people know that they're on that train. I'm standing in front of you today, talking to you, speaking to you. And I am on that train. But you have the power in your hands to divert the tracks. Thank you.